Okay, my heart is racing so fast, but I'm also like so weirdly calm. I'm so excited to marry you, Caleb.
Gosh, I don't even know where to start. We prayed for our children before we had children. We can't be more thankful for Mary Grace. An absolute answer to prayer that we've been praying for 26 years. You've been prayed for.
Lord, if it be your will, please give me a chance to care for him. The Lord has answered.
I think it's kind of cool, like as we are in a day and age that's like shifting more towards like AI and almost like robotic things that are perfect.
Right.
That's literally what I've said. Like people are like, are you worried about your job? I'm like, man, my films are too quirky and imperfect for AI to replicate it. AI would be like, no, that's not how you do it, you know? So I think my perspective began to shift. And honestly, like to be real, my perspective definitely shifted when I edited my own wedding film. But it made me like sit back and reflect and be like, what do I want to watch one day? And it was the first time I had ever asked myself, what kind of film do I want to watch 10, 20, 30 years from now? Beyond trends, beyond what's popular. I think it's cool that documentary style is getting popular now, which is kind of where I'm in.
Jada's grandmother, Patty Furlong, and my father bought this property in 1947.
I think authenticity isn't perfect. I think like sometimes as wedding filmmakers, it's easy to be caught up in this like editorial perfection based documentation of a wedding day. And to be quite honest, in order to get every reaction, every moment, every emotion that allows you to feel what was actually felt, you're not going to be able to do things in the perfect lighting without any shake in your camera. And I think like what I've leaned into with the imperfections is like, I want people to look back at their film and say, what, like this feels just like us, not like this feels like how Wakefield Films or Mason Wakefield envisioned our day. And that's where my mind goes to. And so I guess imperfections for me are part of that, is like, okay, yeah, that moment was goofy. It was awkward, but like, that's okay. Like that moment was them and that moment was real. And when they're 75 years old, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, look at us, you know, or they're going to be like, oh, that's so cute or whatever it is. So I think that's what I come back to when it comes to imperfections is like, what is like 50, 60, 70-year-old me going to want to see one day?
I'd love to hear like, you know, your like process on wedding day. Is anything really staged? I mean, it doesn't look like it is, but it's like, I would love to hear your process on like how you get all those real moments.
Yeah, I've been having this conversation about staging lately. You're not going to have a good wedding film if you have no ideas. I think it's an easy excuse to say I'm a documentary wedding filmmaker and then come with no plan. It's a really easy excuse to not be prepared. I think there is such thing as being too documentary and doing it for the like name and the sake of it. I like to tell our couples that we prompt, we don't pose.
That's a good word.
It's not that we don't necessarily pose things, but like we give ideas like, hey, this looks, video is not, in my opinion, again, like you're talking about authenticity. It doesn't look like a lot of things are posed. And that's because I'm not saying, hey, like do this look or, you know, pose this way. I'm like, hey, do this action. A great example. So I shot a wedding this past weekend. And I found a lot of inspiration from some European filmmakers lately. There's been a lot of European filmmakers absolutely crushing it. And so what I've done is I've started for documentary stuff, asking people questions while they're getting ready. What's going through your head right now? You know, like go over to the mom, like, is this your only daughter? Oh my gosh, like, congratulations. How does that feel? Take yourself back 20 years. Like, what's going through your head right now? You just like different things like that, just to give raw audio, authenticity, get people in their feelings and emotions. Sometimes you have to help people there on their wedding day, right? Another thing with couples that we love, and this is genuinely authentic, I follow the couple after ceremony until like every single hug has been had with every single person. I don't stop rolling my camera. Getting ready is where I really incorporate plan portraits. I always have 4 or 5 ideas, and I preach this to my guys over and over again that film with me, but we're all about sequencing shots. You don't want to get just one shot, like wide, medium, tight of everything. Just do it over and over and over again. And before you know it, you have a story that actually makes sense. And so I think alongside coming with ideas, one thing that I've gotten to the point of being is you have to do this, I think, as documentary style, is you have to be willing to, like, I guess you could say, swallow your pride and ask people to do things again. I'm constantly saying like, oh, can we do that one more time? But simultaneously, again, you got to be ready for different moments, like when guests are arriving to the reception space, or, you know, during the first dance, like, how do I make this interesting? Or preparation in the moments where you're with the couple is important, but then being quick in the real moments, such as ceremony, reception, things like that, is how I've gotten to where my stuff feels authentic and is authentic while still having a plan.
Look, I'm gonna tell you guys something that I feel like you need to hear, but I know is hard to accept. You gotta stop trying to do everything by yourself, especially if you wanna grow your business in 2026. And I'm telling you guys this because I have been in that place where I just felt stuck. I felt like I was never gonna get out of this rabbit hole that I found myself in of editing day in, day out, never having enough time to work on my marketing or my social media or my website or different aspects of the business that could help me truly grow. Networking, attending events, all these different things. And outsourcing is one of those levers that can just give you time back in your day, back in your life, and alleviate a lot of that pressure that comes from editing. But the good news is I have that team that can help you do just that. And that team is Uncut Gems, the official presenting partner of How to Film Weddings. These guys are the real deal. I've been using them for over 3 years in my business, and they do exactly what they promise you they're gonna do. Save you time, kick backlog in the face, and turn your raw footage into some absolute gems. And they've been kind enough to offer you guys 60% off on your first edit. So head over to Uncut Gems, use my code HTFW at checkout so that you can kick backlog in the face and get back to growing your business in 2026. What do you think is like driving this new era of storytelling and wedding films? I'd love to hear your perspective.
A new generation is getting married, and they crave something different. And I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. I think there was a time where people really craved and wanted, you know, documentation in like a really beautiful, elevated, elegant, perfect way. And I think we're getting to some of those Gen Z weddings. And they're like, I don't really care about it being perfect. I want to remember how I felt. On the industry side, I think there has been a shift of people realizing that beauty is not necessarily about the best shot or perfect lighting or things like that. Beauty is actually found in the moments and in the people and in the voices and the sounds. There's like a shift of people beginning to edit films in a way that like really highlights those things. And so I think that's really what's caused the shift to start to happen. And I'm just happy that I'm kind of part of it.
I would love to just like go behind the scenes on an actual wedding day with you and just be like, I need to know exactly what this guy does because this is amazing.
Let's go, man. It's all about the relationship. I told somebody this the other day, man. 50% of it at least is about how you make the couple feel on the wedding day. It's not necessarily about your product. And I think if you make the couple feel like you're their best friend and like it's their best day of their lives, and if they feel honored and respected and loved, your film's gonna be pretty awesome.
Live flash photograph looking